Today's video is going to be super creepy and insanely interesting. We're going to talk about 5 scientific experiments that are so disturbing and cursed that they'll send chills down your spine. These experiments are so twisted that you won't believe they actually happened, but it's important to know about them so that humanity never repeats these horrifying mistakes. So, let's get started. Experiment number 1 is Unit 731. This was a secret Japanese military unit during World War II, where scientists conducted horrific biological warfare experiments. They used Chinese prisoners as lab rats and performed some of the most inhumane tests ever recorded. They would dissect people alive without anesthesia, infect them with deadly diseases, and even cut off body parts just to see how much pain a human could endure. In one experiment, they placed prisoners in freezing water to observe the effects of frostbite, while in another, they exposed them to poison gas just to see how long they would survive. Imagine being captured, taken to a lab, and treated like an experiment. No painkillers, no mercy, just pure suffering. You feel the sharp scalpel slicing through your skin, your organs being removed, and your body being destroyed. How could anyone be so heartless to do this to another human being? It's beyond horrifying. Experiment number 2 is the Dachau freezing experiments. Conducted by Nazi scientists during World War II, these experiments were meant to help pilots who crashed into freezing waters. But instead of testing on willing participants, they used prisoners from concentration camps as test subjects. These prisoners were forced into ice-cold water for hours, their bodies slowly shutting down. Some froze to death, while others suffered severe frostbite, their limbs turning black and useless. To revive them, the Nazis tried different methods, dunking them in hot water, rubbing their skin with snow, or forcing them to hug warm bodies. Now imagine being thrown into a tank of freezing water, your body temperature dropping dangerously low, and your limbs going completely numb. Then, when they finally pull you out, they burn your frozen skin with boiling water or rub you down with ice. The pain would be unimaginable. This is just one example of the terrifying cruelty humans have inflicted on others in the name of science. Experiment number 3 is the Aversion project. This took place in South Africa when homosexuality was still considered a mental illness. The government wanted to cure gay soldiers, so they designed a horrifying experiment. The soldiers were forced into electroshock therapy while being shown pictures and videos of men together. Every time they reacted, they were given a painful electric shock to make them associate pain with their feelings. Some soldiers were even forced to undergo sex change operations against their will. Instead of curing them, this left them traumatized and broken. Just imagine being subjected to endless shocks, feeling helpless as the world tells you something is wrong with you, when in reality, nothing is wrong at all. This experiment proves just how cruel and intolerant society can be toward those who are different. Experiment number 4 is the Tuskegee Syphilis study. This took place in the United States from 1932 to 1972. The government recruited 600 African-American men, telling them they would receive free medical treatment. But in reality, they were just lab rats for a terrifying study. 399 of these men had syphilis, but instead of treating them, doctors let the disease progress just to observe its effects. Even after penicillin was discovered, a cure for syphilis, they refused to give it to these men, leading to horrible deaths, suffering, and the spread of disease to their wives and children. Imagine trusting your doctor, believing you're receiving treatment, only to realize they are watching you die on purpose. Your health is declining, you're in pain, and yet the cure is right there, but they won't give it to you. This was one of the biggest betrayals of trust in medical history, proving how racial bias led to one of the most unethical studies ever conducted. Experiment number 5 is the monster study. In 1939, speech pathologist Dr. Mary Tudor wanted to test if stuttering was caused by genetics or environment. So she picked 22 orphaned children for a disturbing experiment. One group received positive reinforcement for their speech, while the other group was constantly criticized and told they had a speech problem, even when they didn't. This mental abuse caused many children to actually develop speech disorders and long-term anxiety. Imagine being a helpless child, already vulnerable without parents, and suddenly adults start telling you something is wrong with you. You don't believe them at first, but after hearing it again and again, you start doubting yourself. Over time, you actually develop a speech issue that never existed before. This experiment shows how dangerous and destructive words can be, especially for young minds. So, those were the 5 most cursed scientific experiments in history. It's terrifying to think that real people suffered through these horrors, all in the name of research. But it's important to remember these events so that history never repeats itself. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to subscribe to Cursed Echoes and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Also, let me know in the comments, which experiment did you find the most disturbing? See you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye.